Hello everybody, welcome to Bitcoin Not Crypto. You can find me on Twitter X at HODL. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the origin of HODL and tell you the story, read the post, and explain why the idea of holding on to your Bitcoin is so important for the ethos and so important for the longevity of Bitcoin as a network and as an idea. Before I do that, however, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is Bitcoin Well. You can use my code, which is in the description, and you'll actually get yourself some free Bitcoin. If you're the first to scan this QR code with a Lightning wallet, you can actually get some free Bitcoin as well. I try to put these in when I can. They have the lowest spreads for non-custodial exchange in Canada and the US, and they have non-KYC options. So this is a pretty funny post. It's very funny actually, and it really is well put in a lot of ways with a bit of comedy throughout it. So I'm going to read it out and I'm going to break it down and talk about why it's so impactful, why so many people actually have their usernames as HODL, me being one of them. And here we go. So the title is I am HODLing. I am HODLING. This is on bitcointalk.org. And this was posted December 18th, 2013. And there are all sorts of spelling mistakes throughout this, and you should read this yourself if you want to see those, but I'm going to read it out to you. I type D that title twice because I knew it was wrong the first time. Still wrong. Whatever. GF's out at a lesbian bar. BTC crashing. Why am I holding? I'll tell you why. It's because I'm a bad trader and I know that I'm a bad trader. Yeah, you good traders can spot the highs and the lows, pit, pat, piffy, wing, wong, wang, just like that and make $1 million bucks, sure, no problem, bro. Likewise, the weak hands are like, oh no, it's going down, I'm going to sell, he he he. And they're like, oh God, my asshole, when the smart traders who know what the fuck they're doing buy back in. But you know what? I'm not part of that group. When the traders buy back in, I'm already part of the market capital. So guess what? Guess who you're cheating? Day traders, not me. Those taunt threads saying, oh, you should have sold. Yeah, no shit. No shit I should have sold. I should have sold moments before every sell and bought moments before every buy. But you know what? Not everyone is as cool as you. You only sell in a bear market if you are a good day trader or an illusioned noob. The people in between hold. In a zero-sum game such as this, traders can take your money if you sell. So I've had some whiskey. Actually, on the bottle, it's spelled whiskey with no E, whatever, sue me, but only if it's payable in BTC. Now, this post went semi-viral. It got a lot of merit on BTC Talk. It's hilarious, and it is true. And it's true when you look at the statistics. The traders, there's a small percentage of traders that can make money. And in Bitcoin, a lot of those traders are whales that actually manipulate the price. And this is happening now because of perpetuals, where they can see basically where people's positions are. They can see how leveraged they are, and they can push the price to levels where liquidation happens. And these are not leverage contracts where they get a notice where you have to top up your margin, you have to become solid footing again, and you can hold your leverage. If these certain price points are hit, it just creates a liquidation event right away. So the whales, the traders in we can extrapolate this out to the time frame that we're living in now, where the traders are whales. The traders are people that can manipulate the price in the short term. This is the way that Bitcoin price action happens in the short term, is it's highly manipulated by large players until there's a catalyst that drives the price up to a new level or down to a previous level. This is the origin of HODL, HODL. People now say it means hold on for dear life. Doesn't really make sense. There's a couple letters missing there. Hold on for. There, where's the F? If you're going to include the on, where's the F? For four. But for me, it just embraces this idea of not selling your Bitcoin. I think that You're naive to think that in the long run, you're going to be smart enough, you're going to have a dedicated plan enough that will actually make you acquire more Bitcoin. There's a small few that aren't whales that could acquire more Bitcoin. And I think that for the most part, it doesn't make sense to try to be one of those people. I think the strategy has been to hodl. It has been to hold on. And if we look at the price, what was the price on December 18th, 2023? Let's look at that right now. The price of Bitcoin at that time was $522 US. And, wow, it's over 100,000 today. So that is a lot of difference. So some quick math here. That's estimated basically at 20,000% up if you had just held on. Now, when you're a trader, what often happens is it becomes there ends up being mental barriers for you to enter back into a position if you've made a successful trade, but the price has run up while you don't have a position. So say, the price runs from $522, you're holding, right? And it runs to 600, you sell, and you've you've locked in some profits, right? Of $78. And then, the price fluctuates or whatever, and then it runs to 600. There's a sort of a mental barrier that you might face when you think, yeah, but I sold at 600. Now I'm buying back in. I'm actually going to be getting less, even though I made that $78 profit. Maybe Bitcoin will go down below 600 again and I can buy then, right? So you're waiting and you're not in a position, and then you get distracted by something else, some other, shiny object. That's the thing about trading, right? Is you're looking for volatility, you're looking for momentum, you're looking at what's hot on the market, you're looking at top losers, top winners, and volume within a trade. It's just become something where you can get distracted a lot. And this is the idea of laser eyes, right? Laser eyes was another meme in the Bitcoin sphere. Laser eyes until 100,000. And we're past 100,000. If you look at my profile picture, I have laser eyes on. And for me, laser eyes until fiat dies. That's the concept for me. And even maybe still after that, because I think it looks kind of cool. So to me, it just signals focus, right? Laser eye focus on the idea of what Bitcoin is. And that's what I'm talking about here. Bitcoin is not number go up. Number go up is a reflection of adoption, and it is a signal of it's a signal of basically adoption, right? It's a signal of value, and it's a good marketing tool to get more people into the asset. All of those things. But the ethos, in my opinion, of Bitcoin is not to make a bunch of money, because Bitcoin is money. You have made money when you sell your fake money for real money, when you swap fiat for sound Bitcoin. And money that has a supply cap, has a fixed issuance that's deflationary over time, and has a cost of production. It cannot just be created digitally for free like many altcoins and every shitcoin out there, including fiat dollars. And it has so many things around it that give it value. Now, ultimately, money is a social contract and a belief system. So these ideas, the electricity, the cost that goes into Bitcoin, you still have to value that cost. You still have to think that's worth something. You have to think the encryption of it is worth something. The fair launch is worth something. And in my opinion, all of these things do add up to Bitcoin being very valuable. The use case of being able to transmit it across borders at very low cost. The layer 2 on top of it that makes micropayments usable, and being able to settle in this very secure layer 1 that is Bitcoin, because it has the most hash rate behind it, the most inability for double spending, and the longest running chain throughout history. All of those things you have to value individually for Bitcoin to be collectively and as one single idea valuable to you. This is the problem with altcoins. This is the problem with thinking that any one of these compete with Bitcoin, is that it takes away. If you hold whatever altcoin du jour, you are short Bitcoin. If you hold fiat, you are short Bitcoin. Now, it's okay to be short Bitcoin in certain circumstances because there are other uses for fiat, right? My landlord who I rent from, they do not accept Bitcoin, so I hold some fiat, right? It makes sense because it has a utility. Taxes need to be paid in dollars. You know what use case dollars don't have? Is they do not store value well. You look at a chart of the US dollar, the cleanest shirt in the laundry out of fiat currencies, and it has gone down 90+%, somewhere of like even 99% of purchasing power has been eroded. And people that have historically been able to buy harder assets have done well for themselves, have become rich, successful, number go up, right? The store of value function is not to be underrated. It is extremely important to have a store of value. Now, the medium of exchange will come about from Bitcoin as more people hold it, as more people demand it, as more people hold it and don't want to convert into fiat. And the unit of account, I think, is going to happen so easily with Bitcoin. Being able to be devised down to 100 millionth, right, into Satoshis makes conversion easy, and everything else should, in my opinion, be priced against Bitcoin because Bitcoin is sound and stable. Yes, it fluctuates day to day, but that is driven on the perception of adoption and the devaluation of everything else against it, in my opinion. And that volatility will start to look like nothing, right? There will be a time in Bitcoin's history and future where the volatility will no longer exist, where everything else will be volatile against Bitcoin because Bitcoin is absolute and Bitcoin is the base layer of money. This is the idea of Bitcoin. The idea of Bitcoin is not to have low conviction. I've watched altcoin channels. I've looked at these people's portfolios. I've listened to them, and they talk about taking profits. That's what this HODL post is about. It's about traders taking profits. What are you taking profits into? You're taking profits into a melting ice cube. You're going to buy yourself a Lambo. You're going to rent a mansion on Airbnb. You're going to buy a bunch of bookshelves with a bunch of books. You're going to record a video of yourself in your garage with your Lambo and your books, and somehow get an interview with Michael Saylor. Ty Lopez is such a scammer. Anyway, the idea here is that you have taken profits when you buy Bitcoin. You hold Bitcoin, you use Bitcoin, you do not sell it. Using it and selling it is different, in my opinion. And I think that you need to be realistic with yourself. Are you smarter than all of the other traders out there? If you're not the best, then you will lose. Yes, 90% of people lose, but the 10% are the best, the most lucky, the fastest, the quickest, all of these scenarios that are likely, right? If you take that bet, right? How many times are you, how willing are you to take a bet where you're the 10%? There's a 10% chance that you're going to win. It's even less than that because there's only a 10% chance that you're going to win if you improve your skills, if you study these things really hard, if you work really hard at this. This isn't flipping a coin 10 times. It's actually the chance is even less than that because you're competing against people who have trained for this, who are trained traders and who do this and have a track record and all these kind of things, algorithms, bots, all of that you're competing against. And unless you have the same skills, unless you're above average, then and only then are you going to start to skew that 90-10. And honestly, It's better to probably just improve your skills in the field that you're interested in, that you're good at, that already earns you income, and converting that into Bitcoin and holding for the long term. How does 20,000% sound to you from, in 12 years? That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good, right? Let's not kid ourselves. HODLing has been a great strategy and continues to be into the future, in my opinion. And that's what I do. I buy, I hold. I've used Bitcoin, and that's about it. I do not sell it. I do not trade it, but I do use it as a way of increasing adoption and making connections, networking, that kind of thing. But for me, the use case of using it will present itself more in the future when it becomes a necessary kind of thing to do. Until then, the use case is store of value, holding, and being a hedge against monetary debasement, which is an inevitability if you look at the debt spiral, the government spending, and the way the central banks operate, the credit creation, and we live in a debt-based society. So the debt just needs to keep growing, and we need to inflate away the debt. That's the only option they have. That is the situation that we are in today. And Bitcoin is a way to literally opt out of that entire system. It's a new monetary system that is fair, and you can audit it. You can look at it, it's public, and you can see the code that creates all of the situation of what Bitcoin is. And to me, that's wonderful. And Bitcoin or money, Bitcoin and money are becoming the same word to me. Money consolidates on one best sound money. If you hold a lesser money, you will lose out to your neighbor who holds a sounder money. And Bitcoin is the most sound money out there. Do not be fooled by the XRP heads out there that are, talking about, oh, it's running up like crazy. There's going to be all this cross-border adoption. Kamala coin has, is in good with the Trump organization. This is short-term thinking. Again, these are people who take profits. These are people who, it's a 40% pre-mine where you will get dumped on. You will be exit liquidity for a startup, which is Ripple Labs. You are not invested in Ripple Labs when you buy XRP. I could go on, but you don't want to hear my XRP rant. And if you do, I'll post it below, I guess, or a card will pop up. I did a deep dive already on them, and to me they are the most annoying altcoin out there because they pretend that so much that they compete with Bitcoin, which they do not. It is a different beast, and in my opinion, just a giant pump and dump. Unlike Bitcoin, Bitcoin is fair, Bitcoin is true, Bitcoin is sound, and Bitcoin is the future, and it's the present if you opt in to the Bitcoin system. And that is amazing. You can step out of the fiat system that we are in that is unfair, right? The fiat system is the exact opposite of Bitcoin. So step out of it, get yourself some Bitcoin, check out Bitcoin well, and I appreciate you all for watching and listening.